are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like to study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, a huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Thought that was the case.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracies.
My name's Luke.
I'm Salt.
I'm Cam. Gentlemen, how are we?
Bloody feeling giant, mate.
Feeling giant?
Fantastic.
I don't know.
That's exciting.
I'm just trying to do a fun intro thing.
Yeah, right.
And Robbo was just like, no yes ending here.
How are we? Did we ask that? That's what you asked, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said I was feeling giant.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty good, thanks, Cam. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for asking, Robbo.
You're welcome.
Too, I suppose.
Been a bit hot where you guys are.
Robbo, it's been absolutely bloody ridiculous. It was 38 degrees yesterday. It's 16 degrees today. Let me tell you something. Only in Melbourne, mate.
Only in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
For our American listeners, that's Celsius.
Yeah.
Actual good measure of temperature.
Yeah.
In terms of like freedom units, it was like 98 yesterday and 62 today or something like that. Works out to be about that, I think.
Jeez. Did you have that ready to go or you knew that?
I had already done the calculations.
Yeah, right. Smart. A bit of a feedback from last week on our show.
Little listener feedback.
Yeah. We get a little bit of listener feedback, but we don't often share it on the show. But I think this one needs a bit of a public airing. I wasn't stoned on the last episode, for people that may have asked.
Really?
I was really tired. I'd worked a lot in the 10 days or 12 days or whatever it was in the lead up.
Right.
And I was just really, really tired and certainly not stoned.
Yeah.
So Emma.
Oh no! Feedback's coming from inside the house.
It's coming from inside the house. She's like, "Will you?" I'm like, "No, she's tired."
Me, the guy who's stoned 24/7. Me?
I'm not stoned. What the hell?
Can you not say no when you're stoned, mate?
Maybe I need to get stoned on for another podcast, and then we see how much worse it is.
So, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about giants.
Oh yeah, giant spliffs.
Giant spliffs. Giant spliffs, giant bongs, giant buds. No, just big guys. Mostly guys.
Big burly blokes.
Yeah. You don't...
Like me.
Yeah. You really see a giant lady in any of these, do you?
I will say that when I went on TikTok to look for giant videos, there were a few giant ladies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. A fetish thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mercy me. These people were feeding the fetish algorithm.
Yeah, right.
Good Lord.
Did you find something out about yourself, Cam, by that reaction?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so I guess this did start from the TikTok one that's been doing the rounds for almost a year now, but it weirdly had a resurgence in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those cyclical things of TikTok where things can like just have the exact same, like it's different people, but it's just like it just got stuck in the algorithm again.
Yeah, I think someone might have done a react video to it, and then it kicked off away that way.
I've been checking out a little bit of TikTok lately, and like
a little bit. You mean you don't sit there for 5 hours on your couch just doom scrolling through the app?
No, I was looking.
You
for
salty?
Yeah, often.
Looking for specific stuff, but I did notice people being like talking about how for some reason they're getting like so much more conspiracy material in their For You these days.
I think the Twitter algorithm, Twitter's got little videos in the search thing now, and on my Ale of a Time one, which I don't think I ever really talk. I talk a little bit about conspiracy stuff, but it's not by far not the bulk, but it's all like Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan stuff suggested there.
Well, it's like Twitter just rolled out a For You feed so that they had like, they've always had like recently they've had like two timelines. So you've had your like algorithmic timeline and your, what do you call it? Your time-based timeline where it's just the people you follow at the most recent tweets, which some might suggest is like what people want. But
isn't that what it used to be like?
That's what it was originally like. And then they rolled out their algorithm thing, and then at some point they're like, oh, well, we'll give you both, and you can choose which one you want, and it would like always change back to the bad one. And then like in the last week under Elon Musk, they've rolled out a For You one, which I don't know. It seems like it's worse than the old algorithmic timeline. It's definitely feels like they caught up with the other social, like if you scroll through like Facebook video reels or YouTube shorts and you get so much right-wing shit, it feels like they spun up getting to that point real quick. Like that, at least that like took a while to happen. This seems like it happened overnight. They had engineers 24/7 sleeping on the couch at Twitter being like, we need to get as much Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan into these people's systems as humanly possible.
My Facebook Reels, I hate watch a lot of things, and every time I scroll past Facebook Reels, I watched like jazz dancing, and now Facebook Reels thinks that I love jazz dancing.
I got ya.
And I'm sucked in. I hate watch it because I really, and no offense to anyone that loves jazz dancing or does it. It looks like it takes a lot of skill. It looks like it's a lot of fun. There's something about it that just kind of annoys me a little bit. The looks on their faces mostly, and the old-timey 50s throwback clothes that are, like 50s throwbacks always a little bit racist to me. So, yeah, I hate watch it all, and the algorithm is just spoon-feeding me jazz dancing. Oh, and I watched a Wednesday dance, which I'm only kind of aware of as being the Wednesday Addams Netflix thing, which I guess is all I need to know. And now I'm getting a lot of Wednesday dances. Right. Hate watch those too.
I don't know if I'm getting served content because it thinks that I want to see it, but I get a lot of riddles.
Oh,
I guess it must be like, all right, this guy's like a mystery solver. He's like a Batman sort of figure. We want to feed him riddles, but they're all like really stupid riddles. And I go to the comments, and all of the comments are like people saying, I hated this. just here to say how much I hated this content. There's no one in the comments is like, this was really good. It's literally everyone saying, I hated this, and then one person will have the answer to the riddle, and all of the people are replying is like, this is the only reasons I came to the comments were to say I hated it and to get the answer. Because they're not like riddles that you could solve. They're like stupid things.
Do you have an example?
Oh, like a man was going to the shops and he drew a picture of a cat. I've already told you his name. What is it?
A man.
It's Drew, I think. It's like,
cool.
Yeah, that's great. What I would like in my Facebook Reels is the magician content, the fucked cooking. The people that are like, I'm making a cake, and they just like make it on their like on their countertop without any utensils. They just mix all the ingredients together and they make a real mess. And the whole point is just to get people commenting like, "Oh, this is so unhygienic." I would love it if I got that stuff in my feed.
All right.
My Instagram one, which I pretty much Instagram used for looking at like 5 or 6 people's stories, and then to look at skateboarding. And even my Instagram one, if I open up the search, there is 2 skateboarding clips, some ladies in bikinis, a meme about girls going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a BMX one.
This is the thing. Why is it showing you any BMX content? You clearly only want to see people doing sick ollies.
Yeah, I only want sick ollies.
Oh, I flipped the handlebars around. Like, what the fuck is that?
And there's one thing that the Instagram isn't short of. It's skateboarding video clips. There are many that I haven't seen and many that I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Serve me up those. I would spend so much more time on the app that just showed me sick skateboarding. I'd be like, serve me up another kickflip.
You'd say the only thing stickier than this app is all of the sticky icky that I'm consuming before I pod with the boys.
Yeah, okay.
This feels like a big shooey, but it's not really, because it's all quite relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's really relevant.
So yeah, this giant thing on TikTok has blown up. And it's this guy, Andrew
Dawson.
Andrew Dawson. He's dead. Which is a shame, because it would be really easy to rip on some of this content that he put out.
I think it's still okay to rip on it. Because he put out a lot of content pre this that was clearly trying to get viral content going.
Mm.
For good or bad. So we're not saying he's a bad person. We're not saying we're not saying we're glad he's dead.
He seems like an okay guy.
Yeah.
But if you look at his various feeds, he's sort of the quintessential influencer. I think that there's the idea that you can be an influencer as a career that's out there in the world. And that's true for I don't know, 100 people. And then there's thousands and thousands of Andrew Dawsons.
Mm. Mm.
And yeah, he's getting a few hundred views on everything, but that's it.
So I went back deep into some of his YouTube stuff. Maybe we talk about why the giant stuff first, and then we go deep and
unpack the viability of influencing as a career. Okay,
we'll talk about why this is clearly him being an influencer, because most people just look at the giant stuff and then go, "Wow, he's a giant guy."
Yeah,
he's just a normal guy that's seen a giant, not a giant guy, because that would be evidence of giants.
Yeah.
How did this all start, Cam?
The way it all started, which is back in February 2022, I think, he posted a video of a mountain with a giant on it. He's looking at the mountain. He's like, "That's a very big bloke on top of the mountain." And it nothing really happened with it. He got a couple comments, I think, when he cross-posted it to Facebook, perhaps, where a guy was like, "That's not a mountain. That's not a giant. That's just a big big cross." And if you look at the video, it is just a big cross. So
I thought it was a satellite dish.
Yeah, it's like a antenna.
It's just a big antenna.
Yeah.
Like a big T-shape or cross, if you will.
Yeah, like a center pillar with 4 circular satellite dishes on it that makes it looks kind of like the silhouette of a person.
Yeah. A person not moving, just broadcasting data.
Yeah. It's like your local TV mountaintop antenna.
Yeah. And it's the sort of technology that I think for optimal reception, you have to have it be a bit of metal. You can't have it be a bloke that stands on the mountain holding up the satellite dishes.
Yeah.
So it's most likely it was just a piece of metal, right?
Yeah. It wasn't a giant man holding up 4 satellite dishes.
No. They worked that out, the TV people. Anyway, he posted that. Some guy's like, I don't think so. He's like, "Oh, yeah, no, it's a giant." Lol. Doesn't really do any numbers. I think then does he do another video where he's like, "Oh, I went back and it was gone."
Yeah, there's a building there now or something like that.
Yeah.
And people were saying that, there's a building there now. It's like a military research site has been built on that location.
Yeah. Not to go full Bellingcat on this, but it was a different mountain. He did 3 videos of this mountain. It's a different mountain each time.
I don't know. I looked and compared the ridges and everything, and it looked pretty similar.
That's because you haven't done as much deep mountain research as me.
I did. Cam. I live in a very mountainous land.
To the layperson, Luke, a mountain's a mountain.
I looked at the ridge lines and everything.
Oh, yeah, you forensically?
Yeah,
examined the
forensically as
ridge line?
shit.
No,
Yeah.
they're not the same mountain. Or if they are the same mountain, they're from like different angles.
I'm the bones of mountains.
So, Robbo, what do you think is more likely, that they were different mountains or that they took down the TV tower?
Hard to say. Not
Or
not
that
the
the
latter.
or that the giant walked away because it was like his day off.
Yeah, they're off.
Anyway, that does, a couple numbers, but nothing. I don't think these went particularly viral. But then he did some videos where he's like, I tried to go up the mountain and this guy stopped me.
Right.
Mm.
And then he does another video where he's like at home and he's like, I saw the car of the guy that stopped me and they're like outside my house watching me. And then he goes outside and the car peels off. I think that got a little bit more attention. And then he just went quiet for a few weeks.
Mm.
And then
there's a couple. I guess there's a couple we've skipped over as well. There's one of it moving apparently. There's also one of heli extraction, where apparently the helicopters are taking it off the mountain. It's just kind of helicopter near the mountain.
Yeah.
And then it's the being stalked one where he's being followed by the CIA. But that one's really funny because it's like he's like opening up his doors in his house, all the lights, and it's like, oh, they're out there. That car's out there. And he walks out, and as soon as he kind of walks out, the car goes and drives off. Like super, super not conspicuous at all.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's the CIA. I'm being stalked by the CIA. It's like, no, this is just clearly like the CIA can put a giant on a mountain and take it off with a helicopter. They can watch your house without just a car outside.
Yeah. You're saying the tradecraft was a little sloppy for the agency.
It definitely was. If anything, it's the Canadian one. What is that? The CSIS.
The CCIA.
Yeah, the CCIA. Isn't it the Royal Mounted CIA?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? If it was the CIA, wouldn't they have been on horseback?
What?
No, because they're the Canadian ones.
Well, no, because the Canadian CIA don't operate on Canadian soil.
No,
this is Canadian FBI.
This is why I saw them. I saw people being like, yeah, it could have been the CIA because he is in Canada. So it makes sense. It's like, fuck off. Anyway, poor Tradecraft. He goes quiet for a few weeks and then he comes back with a video where he's like, oh, all of my videos about it being stalked by the CIA and about the giant, they were all fake. But he's doing a bit in this as well. He's like doing I'm being, forced to say this bit.
He doesn't do it well either.
No.
Like, it's clearly staged. It's clearly like, it's clearly not real. But he tries, looks off to the side to make it look like he's reading a script or being coerced. But I don't know, if you feel like you're doing that and leaning into it, you do some blinking, some more blinking Morse code, or, you really go for it. But he just kind of, this is why he never took off as an influencer.
Yeah. Where he does do quite well is that he died shortly after putting that video out.
No, because there's another video where he said he's being followed by the military again, and he thinks he might die soon. That was 18th of the 5th, 2022. So that's May, and then he died
July 1st.
Yeah, so like soon enough after for it to be sus, especially with no videos in between.
Yeah. So, yeah. Once he died, that's when he got stuck in the algorithm. It just went off because people found like the death notice. We talked about this on the news last week. I was like, I wonder if that's even real, but it does seem that is all real. He was a real guy. He really died.
I went and had a look at some of his family, and they were mourning publicly on Facebook. And his partner, she has a TikTok, and yeah, she is also mourning. It's definitely 100% he is dead. But what's really quite sad is people commenting on all of her videos now about this, and one of the most common comments is like, where a certain color in the next video if you need help. So the one that I've just screenshotted one, and it's like, wear yellow in the next video if you need help, and then below that, wear purple if you're in danger next vid, and we'll know. And I've seen one saying wear blue. So like, they're trapping her with colors.
They are.
Other comments are like, how much did you get for Andrew's passing? We want to know what happened to Andrew while you're dancing away. Why are you like so happy? But this is, already 6 months later on, like she can have moments of happiness. In fact, it's probably very healthy for her to have many moments of happiness. And, she does have a lot of videos where she's grieving, which is kind of weird seeing this whole process, on TikTok, but like whatever, this is the world we live in. But yeah, it's clearly like, I don't know. And it sucks that probably indefinitely she's going to be plagued by people. Like this isn't going to go away for her.
Mm.
So if she wants to keep doing dances on TikTok, she is forever just going to be dealing with this, which is a bit sad because, she probably needs to, move on a little bit, and they're always going to be dragging her down.
So yeah, it's so weird that like this guy, like what he wanted was to go viral.
Yeah.
And you see him like trying to latch onto all of these different things, like all of these trends, which is like just normal. I'm not saying that to have a go at him. He's just doing the very normal thing.
That's what everyone on TikTok's trying to do.
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing as that thing that is famous, and I'll get famous.
Unfortunately, he's struck upon
the absolute right way to do it.
Well, it's like it's a surefire way to do it.
One of his attempts was having a tweaker neighbor. Did you watch any of those ones, guys?
No.
So there's a series of videos where he's like, my neighbor's tweaking really hard. Or like he'll be filming his dog saying, good dog. And then there'll be a knock at the door and there'll be like a shirtless guy standing there who looks very healthy. As in, he's got well-defined muscles, his beard is trimmed, just generally a healthy-looking dude in shape. And he's supposed to be the meth addict neighbor.
Right.
And he just there's a whole series of him doing like random things. There's one where he's idling in the car, the Andrew is, and doing a video to his girlfriend, and the guy gets in the back seat with a knife, and I think he's like, "Don't tell anyone," and then gets out the other door. He's like, "What the hell? Like, what is that?" There's one where the other guy's standing on the roof. There's one where the guy eats his pizza out the front door of his house, but the guy just doesn't look like a meth addict at all. So it's just like, and just none of them are convincing at all. Like. And you can see he's worked it. He's like, how do I explain that I'm filming? Oh, I'll be filming a message to my girlfriend or my dog when this happens. So that explains it. But it just didn't really take off.
I did see one video he did involving his neighbor, but I don't think this was part of the meth series, where he was like, I'm sick of my neighbor always cooking steaks and never inviting me over for a steak. So I'm going to steal the steak off his grill. And he runs over and steals the steak off the grill, and then the neighbor's banging on his door. Give me back my steak. And it's like, that speaks to, I think, the feeling that all of us get when we walk past someone cooking a steak outside, which is like, we could just steal that.
Hey, give me a steak.
On the flip side, it speaks to when your steak gets stolen by your neighbor and you're like, give me back my steak.
Yeah. It's the universal human condition.
That is kind of funny to me, though. That bit, like that's almost a bit from the television show I Think You Could Leave. Stole it and slopped it up.
I did see on his Facebook there was a post that he'd made at some point where it was a GoFundMe for like a real person, but one of the comments was like, "Is that guy's name beep?" Because he tried to rob me and I fucked him up. I was like, right. I want to know more about this story.
Yeah. He's also a musician, or was a musician.
Which songs did you listen to, Robbo?
I listened to a few.
Did you listen to the song Doing Sex?
I don't think I listened to the song Doing Sex. Doing Sex or Doing Sex?
Doing Sex.
Okay, no, I didn't listen to that.
I was drawn to that one.
I mean, you're just such a hypersexual dude.
I will say, walked a fine line between sensual and sexual. It was at times romantic and at other times rather crass.
Yeah, got your dripping wet, baby, baby, baby. Before we get to sex, baby, baby, baby. Kissing on your neck, baby, baby, baby. Make it happen, that's slap it back in action, snap it, dancing.
I noticed the very first one I watched called Get It, Andrew Dawson. The name of the song's Get It. The name of the song isn't Get It, Andrew Dawson. Get It by Andrew Dawson. It goes for 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a power number. The last video he made, but he made one after that, so it wasn't really. He also dabbled in some, I wouldn't call it vaporwave, but he stole some vaporwave and some Simpsons Wave visuals for some of his videos. The doing sex one is right next to the Simpsons Wave one. So obviously I was drawn to the Simpsons Wave and not the sex.
Yeah. I guess we're very different people in that respect.
Yes, absolutely. But the song started kind of vaporwavy, like a slow down reverb sample, but then it just went into like his songs that they all just sound the same. Did you go back further in his feed, Cam, in his YouTube?
I got to doing sex and I got stuck.
Of course. He had a prank video 3 years ago that was sneaking tampons into people's pocket.
Oh, I saw the title of that one.
Yeah, so he what he did was him and his friend bought some tampons. I can't remember what word he used for them, but it was like a slang word that made me go, ugh, that's gross. Just, one of those gross dude terms. Yeah. And then he went round a supermarket and I guess the name's a bit of a spoiler, but I'll say it anyway, snuck tampons into people's pockets. The reason it only ever had 383 views was because he didn't stick around for any reactions.
Yeah, what was the payoff?
So
just the knowledge that a prank had been done.
Yeah, him and his friend just doing that. I didn't. What did I made it through like a minute of the video. I didn't finish it. So maybe there were reactions at the end in a supercut, like a montage, but look, I doubt it.
I saw another prank video he did where they ordered a pizza and had it delivered to the pizza shop across the road from the pizza shop they were ordering from. And it's like, okay. I think where they you could see what he was going for, but where he perhaps fell down is that that whole genre of prank video that he was aiming for is all fake. They're not real, so they can do things that are a little bit more extreme. When you're limited to actually interacting with reality, then you are somewhat hampered by your own willingness to break social mores.
There's one video that I TikTok one that was he's driving with his girlfriend and he says 10,000 likes and I'll beat my girlfriend. And there's a long pause and then it says to the door. But he doesn't go to the door. Right. The payoff would be that punchline of him sprinting to the door. Yeah. So yeah, his really. Oh, this is awful that I'm about to say. His only hope was him to die after a couple of fake videos. And he seemed to have a healthy, and maybe he enjoyed it. So not everyone needs to go viral. It's a fun. A lot of these involve other people. They're out there having fun. He was gainfully employed, and he had a family, and everyone looked really happy. So he didn't need to go viral. Yeah.
Now, I had been wondering about why this got so stuck in the algorithm, and why it's just bouncing through the algorithm again and again as well. So it's back. It's it's gone big. I don't know. I think that the dying thing helped. I think that there are credulous people, but I think that some people are just going along because it's already trending.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of podcasts where people were talking about this, and most of them were just like, whoa, crazy. But there was no real attempt to sort of understand how this has actually played out, because Occam's razor says he faked it and then he died because people die.
People die, yeah.
You know, so you can sort of see how this would get into the zeitgeist of like, you know, there's enough interesting things in there for it to be like, wow, what the fuck? But all you need to do is like scroll, you know, 2 videos back in his TikTok and see that he's just a guy trying to create TikTok content, and he's not, you know, not particularly good at it, as evidenced by the giant and everything else.
I did see one video podcast where they were talking about it, and it was clearly a beer-themed podcast, like where their whole thing is drinking beers, but their whole thing was like drinking Bud Lights. Isn't that a little bit weird?
Not if you like Bud Light.
Wouldn't you just drink normal Budweiser?
Maybe you want to have a few and not get absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, Bud Light, I think, is the biggest selling beer in America.
Okay.
And I think it's just light in flavour. It's not light in alcohol.
Ah, right. Well, this is why I've got you around, Robbo, to set me straight on these things. I did wonder though.
Sorry, Bud Light is 4.2 and Bud regular is 5. So it's not like it's a huge.
That's a strong drink.
5?
5? It's 5%. 5%.
Sometimes you have beers that are even like 5.5%. So
anyway, I did wonder though, besides like it having all of these elements that make it pretty sticky for the algo, I did wonder if the giant thing was playing
sticky
a part. Because I looked at like a lot of people talking about giants, and I felt like there were people that were sort of more willing to go along with the idea of there being a giant than you might expect. And we've talked in the past about the role that religion plays in conspiracy theories, especially we've talked about the Nephilim before. We've talked about like the role that religion has in flat Earth, and how religion is often this sort of unspoken thing, like pushing a lot of conspiracy theory stuff, where it's like, all right, well, this is just something out of the Bible. Obviously, we're all on the same page, so we don't need to mention it, but that's why we are so willing to believe that there are giants. I did wonder if that was what was going on here.
Yeah, maybe. It is an interesting, like, you know, the genre of video where someone's kind of done a fake cryptozoological animal or a Bigfoot or a UFO, you know, has been on YouTube since YouTube began. It's never really taken off though. And maybe it's the TikTok digestibility of like quick, you know, oh yeah, Wednesday dance, jazz dance, oh Bigfoot, huh? Wednesday dance, oh a jazz dance again. You know, so like you don't have to think too much about with YouTube. You kind of have to engage pretty fully, like clicking and watching. So maybe it's, you know, it's maybe TikTok will bring a new wave of these kind of videos as well.
I did also notice maybe this is like the world of true crime coming into it as well. I noticed there was like another subgenre within this of, you know, debunking the giant. It's like, that's fine. You can do one video debunking the giant. You can point out that it's just a big stick. These are like people putting out multiple videos, like debunking every element of it. And it's clearly just feeding the machine.
True crime podcasts are pretty much cancelled now, right?
Yeah, I think that they're having a moment of being considered not so cool.
Yeah, like at this point, we're just mining the victims for content. There was a tweet in June of this year by Randy Shart.
Great
Randy
name.
Shart. I'm not going to read it out because I'm not going to do it justice. But if you Google "Hey Murder Muffins," and the top result should be Randy Shart's tweet. I think that kind of sums up the sentiment, and it's basically like a lot of the podcasts are they're fun and giggly, and we're talking about a murder, and oh my god, what a mystery! I can't believe I did the Valley Girl voice. Apologies for everyone for that slightly sexist thing, but you know, a lot of it is. There's Randy Sharp posted an example below, which is murder, mystery, and makeup with Bailey Sarian. And so like the murder, mystery, and makeup show.
Yeah.
You know, they're not talking about like someone dying in their sleep peacefully and how they might have died. It's always something grisly and awful and quite traumatic for everyone involved.
Robbo, let me assure you, you don't have to apologise for your Valley Girl accent. It wasn't that good.
Okay. Well, no, but it's more like the inherent sexism in doing a Valley Girl accent in this instant.
All right.
I'm an ally, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to the listener feedback saying, thanks for being an ally, Luke.
An ally to the murder victims.
An ally for us 420 folk out there. Hell yeah.
This is a real shoey now, but still related to feeding the algo.
Yeah.
There's been so much Nick Adams content in my feed of late.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been getting a bit of this too, Robbo?
A little bit. It's all being RT'd by folk, right?
Yeah. So this is like the former, either former councillor or former like deputy mayor of Ashfield City Council in New South Wales. And his most famous thing in Australia was that they had a big pigeon problem in his like town. And he's like, well, we'll just need to kill all the pigeons. And they're like, Nick, you can't, Mr. Mayor, you can't kill all the pigeons. He's like, oh, I want to. Anyway, he fucked off. He went to the States and he became like a right-wing, like panel guy, like turning up at all these right-wing conferences and being like, I'm the Australian Trump guy. I love Donald Trump. He got on Twitter and of late he's been doing like this alpha male shtick where he's always tweeting about being an alpha male, about, you shouldn't be ashamed to be an alpha male. We all go to Hooters, this anti-woke sort of thing. Mm. But it's really, really obvious now that he is doing content that is designed to be just razzed on.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just that he's juicing his numbers. Like, his numbers are through the roof because he'll do a thing like you don't have to tell people if you have to tell someone you're alpha male, you're not an alpha male. He's got like alpha male in like his Twitter name. Yeah. And it's like, people are like, oh, is he doing a bit? And it's like, well, he is doing a bit, but it's just to like get you to retweet it so that he can then go to some fucking weird dark money guy and be like, look at my engagement numbers.
I don't think he started intentionally doing a bit. I think he started just being one of those kind of vapid right-wing fucks.
Yeah.
I think thought he was doing things just to trigger the left. And then the left got super triggered. Well, not triggered, just laughing at him.
I think he was doing the content that was getting him razzed. And he's like, well, he's doing it on purpose now. I think, he originally wasn't doing it on purpose, but now he's like just turning it up a bit. But I wonder, like, you can go to like Peter Thiel and be like, look at my fucking numbers. Give me your dark money. But like at some point, are they not going to be like, oh, all of your numbers are from people just saying what a fuck what you are? I don't know. It seems to me like there is a point where it stops working, but I guess we'll see. I'm not the one rolling in bloody free Hooters gift vouchers, am I?
Is he rolling in free Hooters gift vouchers?
I imagine so. What if the whole thing was just promoting Hooters?
I feel like Hooters don't want that kind of promotion. I feel like that's too much of a risky brand position for Hooters.
That's why they do it with dark money, Robbo. That's why it's all being laundered through Peter Thiel.
Have you guys ever been to a Hooters?
No. Are there even Hooters in Australia?
I'm just saying, why did Hooters close in Australia? This is from news.com.au in 2018. It was up for sale. The little nut graph on the Google had it good. It opened its first Australia outpost in 2006, but faced repeated financial difficulties and setbacks, protests at new store openings, a legal case over slushy machines, and a fire that destroyed the Gold Coast restaurant. But there is still some. Maybe it's had a revisit. There's one in Penrith, one in Parramatta. What do we got? Just one in Parramatta by the look of it.
What's on the menu? This is not a gluten-free menu.
Hootertizers. Do you think it's cooked that Americans call entree, their word for the main dish is an entree?
I do think it's cooked, Robbo.
Fucking hell. Americans, like, they're completely normal, and then they go on do something like that, and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
You just, like, you guys almost have it. You almost had it all sussed, and then you go do that and then sponsor dark wars, throughout history and overthrow governments, which is just as bad, not quite as bad as calling mains entrees.
I think I can see why Hooters did not succeed in Australia. I'm seeing a buffalo platter. I'm seeing fried pickles. I'm seeing lots of tots. That's tater tots covered with bacon, cheese, sour cream, and chives. But I'm not seeing steak stuffed with oysters.
Got to have a steak stuffed with oysters.
Got to have a carpet bag if you want your topless restaurant to succeed. I think they're not a topless restaurant either.
No.
See, this is not to be incur the wrath of Emma, but I think that if you want to succeed as a hypersexualized restaurant, how are you going to compete with your fucked tater tots and no oyster steaks when you can go up the road and have someone with no top on serving you oyster steak?
What are you talking about, tits and schnitz?
Yeah.
So, two things on that. I want to mention they've got a buff chick sandwich, which is just kind of a funny name. And like, it's a funny one. They also do steamed shrimp. No one in Australia is going to go, oh, steamed shrimp.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
Chuck a couple of shrimp in the steamer.
The menu, I'm not a fan. So Schnitz and Tits, which is I think it's a Melbourne thing only, right? And it was a night that did topless people serving schnitzels, and people would go and enjoy both, or enjoy one and not the other, or whatever. But then there was someone that split off into two rival nights, and I think one kept the name and the trademark Schnitz and Tits, and the other one didn't, but they still wanted to keep doing Schnitz and Tits, so they call it Schnitzels and Tits.
No. I'm looking at Schnitzel and Tits now.
At least call it Schnitzels and Titsels.
At least call it Schnitzels and Titsels, which is infinitely funnier. But like their moronic brain that is just can't think of more than we've got meat and tits couldn't add the zools to Titsels, because Titsels is fucking hilarious.
Is Schnitz and Tits still around? Because all I can find is Schnitzels and Tits.
Yeah, I don't think the Schnitz and Tits still goes, but I think Schnitzels and Tits goes, which is just a travesty of like, because I've seen people share it and go, well, this doesn't make any sense. What the fuck is this? I'm like, no, it started as Schnitz and Tits, and that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
On the menu, next to the steamed shrimp, onion rings, $10.95, which seems a little pricey, but anyway, there's a gas crisis. Great to eat, but don't try proposing with them. Don't try proposing at Hooters in the first place, I would suggest. That's not a recipe for a successful marriage.
Yeah, that's true.
And then next to that, curly fries, $8.95. Fries are fun again. I mean, it is the funnest fry, but
yeah.
Boneless wings, no bones about it. These delicious chunks of chicken breast can't be beat. No, we don't need this much comedy on our Hooters menu.
I'm now looking at Schnitzel and Tits website.
Yeah.
They've got Titsmas. So they're almost at Titsels. Tasty Schnitzel, the best breasts in town. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's absolutely on brand. There's some testimonials. This one's from James. There's a photo of them. I really hope these are real people. Definitely recommend for a work breakup. I took the boys for the Chrissy party. It was the perfect end to the year. Beautiful drink packages, tasty food, beautiful girls. And there's one from April, who looks to be a lady, or at least presenting as one. Very friendly and quick to serve. Everyone is made to feel comfortable and welcome. Perfect night for a birthday, bucks or hens.
Yeah.
So it seems anyone of any gender can enjoy Schnitzel and Tits.
Yep.
Another one from Amy. We went for a work breakup with the girls and we had a ball. If anything, we got more attention because we were girls. We got the royal treatment. Highly recommended. People don't talk like this. The website links don't take you to the right places. Oh, okay. Schnitzels and Bits. Oh, okay, that's like their blog. I thought they were doing like a dude version, which was
Yeah.
dudes with their dongs out.
Yeah, less male gaze, more male gaze.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just sending one of the photos to our group chat just so I don't have to describe it and send it to you blokes.
I'm trying to see a menu and it won't let me see a menu. Many questions about schnitzels and tits.
I don't know what's just happened to that bloke, but he's having a good time.
Ah, he's got food all over his face. Is it food?
Anyway, that's a shoey, but it's all about the algorithm.
Yeah.
This was about the algorithm more than giants, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I've also just looked up the Royal Hotel in Richmond, which is Melbourne's only public bar with topless barmaids and exotic dancers. The happiest place on earth, it claims.
Is that not taken?
I think that's taken. There's a pub near me that used to do model waitress on like Thursdays.
Right.
And I couldn't ever work out if that was topless or it was just an attractive lady who's probably not good at being a waitress. Or maybe she is.
Have you thought about this gimmick for the brewery, Luke?
Schnitzels and Titzels?
Yeah. Well, you should take that name. Slap a trademark on that right now.
Yeah. I'll let Emma provide the feedback to the podcast based on...
Emma, more listener feedback, please.
I was going to say, if you want to see someone really hot behind the bar, head down to 10 Lyndhurst Street, Westport.
Yeah.
Thank you. I may or may not get my schnitzels out. We just have cheese toasties. We don't serve schnitzels.
You're not allowed to serve schnitzels.
Yeah. Good cheese toasties, though.
Yep.
I had
toasties and
semi-related. We have our garlic bread on the menu listed as pane al aglio del supermercato,
right?
Which is garlic bread from the supermarket in Italian, because we're fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, a couple of Italian guys came in, and he looked really confused, and he's like, "Why do you have that in Italian?" And there was a moment where it was quite tense when I said, "It's an Italian dish, isn't it?" And as I'm saying it, I'm like, "Oh, this could go really badly." He loved it, absolutely loved it. Him and his friend ordered one, and they were really happy. So.
Nice one.
And also the Google, thank you Google Translate for getting the right translation, for not making me look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, imagine. All right. That's the show.
What the fuck?
Unless we have more about giants.
Oh, I just had one thing. There was, in all of the discussions around this, there's a sort of a theory that the Smithsonian hid giant bones.
Right.
That's been going around the internet off and on for years. But and people, I get it. I see it parroted pretty credibly. The Smithsonian had giants. And there's some photos occasionally that go around that have been photoshopped, and to debunk it, the Smithsonian never hid any giant bones. They were never pulled from display. It all came from World News Daily Report, which is obviously on its actual website it says it's satirical and fictional. And yeah, so everyone is you see conspiracy boards parroting that a lot around this stuff, and it's untrue, debunked.
Debunked. They would debunk it, though, wouldn't they?
They would debunk it. Who's they?
All right. Well, if people want to find us, we are on Patreon. Thank you to Tammy, our Cooked $33 sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're also on Twitter at Hypothepod, where our Andrew Tate thread's been popping off.
Ooh.
So
that did pop off.
If you're looking
finally,
if you're on the internet and you're like, oh, geez, I'd love some Andrew Tate content. There's nowhere better. Robbo, where can they get you?
Short Jaw Brewing, 10 Lyndhurst Street, Westport.
Doxed yourself, idiot. Salty?
Twitch.tv/The Salts.
And you can get me on Twitter at Sexenheimer. And Passaran is back on 3CR 4:30 p.m. on Thursdays and wherever you get your potties.
Is that
Alrighty.
Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time?
Yeah, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, or Australian Eastern Normal Time, I call it.
You got to get it. You got to get it right.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. fly contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing. Except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing. Except Donald Trump is clearly a woman, and you're just blind if you can't see that. What did you